What should you do if you have trouble thinking clearly or have memory problems and you're afraid this could affect you at your asylum interview? I'm going to tell you. I'm Brian Manning and I'm a political asylum lawyer. I help people all over the country secure their future in the United States through asylum. I just created a new Facebook group called Asylum Seekers United. Go to Facebook and search for Asylum Seekers United, or you can find it through the Manning Asylum Law Facebook page. I'm answering people's questions. A lot of asylum seekers in there supporting each other, and I'm going to be doing some trainings in that group as well, so come join us. Okay, so a lot of folks who are seeking asylum have been through a lot, and they have trauma from these experiences in the past, and this can affect the way that your mind works. It can make it hard to think clearly sometimes, especially under stressful conditions, and it can affect your memory as well. Now, this is a scientific medical thing. This really can affect the way that people think. And this is often an issue with asylum seekers when they're trying to testify at their asylum interview. These conditions are difficult. The asylum officer is asking you lots of questions, and it's just a stressful environment. So that can make it even harder still to think clearly and to remember things accurately. And so this can hurt you at your asylum interview, right? Because you might not be able to express yourself clearly and to articulate what happened and why you're afraid to go back to your country. Or memory issues could cause you to not be able to talk about things that happened to you, or to actually just kind of maybe mess up some dates, like switch around dates, or just not communicate things well. And that can hurt you. That can actually get you denied. So what can you do about this? Well, if you are seeing a mental health professional, or if you're open to considering seeing one, you might be able to get a letter from them that talks about what you've been through and that says, this person actually may be affected in their ability to think clearly or ability to remember certain things because of the trauma and the effects that this has had on the person. And usually this is someone like a psychologist who will do an assessment of you. They'll want to talk to you at least for a couple or few hours, sometimes in multiple sessions, and ask you a bunch of questions about yourself and about your experiences and about your history. And then they can make a professional judgment as to whether, in their opinion, you are actually affected by what has happened to you and how this may show up in terms of your inability to recall certain things or to have trouble with memory. Okay, so if you get a letter like this, you can take it with you to your asylum interview, or better still, submit it with your asylum application, or if you get it after you've applied but before your interview, then you can mail it and email it to the asylum office well before your interview. This is something that you should do if you think that you're going to have trouble thinking clearly or remembering things at your asylum interview. And also, this kind of letter can help even if you don't fear that you're going to have those kinds of issues at your asylum interview. Why? Well, if you get a letter from a health professional, a mental health professional, saying that you're suffering from the effects of what happened to you, well, that can work in your favor in terms of establishing your eligibility for asylum. Why is that? Well, to get asylum, you have to show that you have been, or that there's a reasonable possibility that you will be persecuted in your country. And that word persecuted basically means harmed really bad, like you've suffered severe harm or damage, okay? And mental harm counts as harm. So if you are pointing to things that have happened to you and saying, yeah, these things are really bad, officer, you should consider that to be persecution. That harm rises to the level of persecution. Well, getting a letter from a mental health professional that says that, this has really affected the person. It's really caused, these different issues in their life, whether it's making you unable to sleep or causing loss of appetite or causing post-traumatic stress disorder or whatever the case may be. If it's having those effects on you, then having a licensed health professional say this in a letter that it succinctly explains what has happened and what your condition is, well, that can help convince the officer that, yeah, what you suffered really was serious and it really does count as persecution, because the health impacts that it has on a person, including your mental health, can count as harm for purposes of establishing asylum. So it can help you in that sense as well. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about this. I'll be happy to try to answer them. And again, join us in the Asylum Seekers United Facebook group, where I'll be happy to answer your questions. I hope this is helpful, and send me a direct message also if you have questions, okay? Thanks, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.